I lost 70K in MRR last month, monthly recurring revenue, and I'm still smiling. How could I not be smiling with this beautiful palm view here behind me? Quite contradictory to the video that I'm about to relay for you guys. And I just wanted to jump on and run a quick little raw video. It's been a little while since I've chopped up behind the camera, just on some raw realities of the OFM game. Some losses that you guys can go on to take if you do scale your agency up to the realms of six figures or multi-six figures a month. And just maybe how you can bounce back from those kinds of losses. Because for me, I've experienced losses of all calibers, you know, six-figure losses quite early in my journey, five-figure losses, four-figure losses, they all add up. And this one here, I just wanted to jump on because despite that happening, I've never really felt better, you know. It's part of the game. There's ups, there's downs, and when you achieve a level of stoicism, I think in business alone, you kind of just roll with these ebbs and flows. Yeah, so let's get into what happened, because I'm sure you guys are intrigued and thinking, how the hell do you lose 70K a month? That isn't light. It's not a little loss for somebody who's just like going through when they're 20 years old, but part of the game. Am I going to cry about it? Hell no. Agent's still up and running, so we're still making cash. Anyway, so first things, 2 models left the agency last month. Now, 2 of these models we brought on, I guess maybe like 3-4 months ago, was doing quite well with them, to be honest. A couple of their accounts went on to actually double. Traffic went on to be quite boosted as well. So that was all going quite swimmingly. Unfortunately, coming to the end of when this was all happening, they got poached by another agency who undercut us so significantly. And unfortunately, the models we didn't actually know these models IRL in person. They was overseas, just a virtually managed relationship. So these kind of problems can arise when this happens. Of course, we have contracts and things in place, but they are slightly difficult to enforce when dealing with overseas jurisdictions. It's part of the game. So they've been poached. We got undercut quite heavily, and you know, all the invoices were fully paid. Thank you for shout out to them, because some cases, which you're probably going to hear about, another story where we didn't get paid our invoice. So that was probably around, I guess, 50K worth of the MRR. Another one was we actually offboarded one of the models from our agency to another agency. So that was quite a nice, smooth transition. But again, that still adds to the revenue loss that we went on to incur. And then another model actually went on, so a new model that we actually started up with, I guess, probably end of September, start of October. So we started up with her. Things were going quite swimmingly. New model to the agency. Began making some money onto her account. Probably had around $3,000 to $4,000 on her account at this point, 1.5K in the pending balance. And this was a new model starting from scratch. So things had obviously started off quite nicely. Some of the different marketing tactics that we'd ensued with her, we hadn't even got everything fully rolled out yet. We were still just getting like everything up and running. She just went up. So once we'd done the first cash out, I think, like I say, about for a few K, she just went ahead and logged us out of the account and was nowhere to be seen thereafter. And this is just one of those, again, a virtually managed relationship. So we was not able to do anything about it. And it's one of them where I'm just sitting here like, I could either cry about it and just be like, yeah, we've been robbed, agency revenue's gone down, or do I just get my head down? We're already signing new talent. We're already pushing different marketing strategies and doubling down on what's working with our current creators who are already scaling anyway. So do we not just focus on that? Because too often than not, I see people they have losses and it affects them so massively. They just never end up bouncing back. And this is the worst thing that I always see. You have to be versatile. And I feel like I'm quite fortunate that I learned these lessons and I had quite drastic losses early on in my journey. Because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of new coming agencies, they're getting burned by like some of the fuckeries that happen in the OFM world. And you guys, if you're an agency owner out there listening to this now, you either have experienced this from some partial level or to some like huge degree. I mean, like I'm in some group chats now with 6, 7, even 8-figure a year agencies. And one dude dropped in there the other day like, hey guys, a model owes me 170 racks. What's my options? And like a lot of people in the chat are just like, yo, bro, this is a difficult one. You can either go down the court route, which is quite expensive, quite time consuming, and still it's a gray area to whether you're recovering those funds. So, some losses, some lessons that you go on to take from that. Well, even now, ever since I've had my previous losses, we always do weekly cash outs. Weekly cash outs, they get invoiced every week. If they're not paid up to you by the weekend, then we're just going to go ahead and cut services. We make that very clear with our creators to begin with. So hell, if you wanted to take that little gem away there, just never be too nice to people. Some lessons that, I can take from last month is definitely never be too nice to people. Even in, like I say, with how we've offboarded some creators as well within our agency, it's just like, they just wasn't the right fit for us. And it's about making that higher level decision. And, you're only really able to step back and make those higher level decisions when you've got systems in place with the right people running it. Now, we can always improve. I know that. I'm very aware of that myself. Still not $1 million plus a month, still not doing 10 million a month. And that's all possible within this realm. But it just goes on to say, like, when you're able to detach a little bit and look at things from that third party perspective, you're able to like make better analysis and better decisions on the agency, which I feel like, again, a lot of agencies lack these days. So that really helped. We managed to cut, some sort of dead weight that wasn't really resonating with us. And the loss with that model with the 5K, we've been able to sort of swallow it, because when you look at an agency model, your operational costs are significantly less than, the percentage that we would have invoiced for that model. I can't remember, I do know the exact splits, but I won't reveal on here. Neither here nor there. Anyway, so like I say, this was just a quick little raw video to get my momentum back ensued with the YouTube, drop you guys back some sauce. And yeah, it was a bit of a blow, but nonetheless, we're still back here, we're still smiling, we're still pushing, we're still scaling. And like I say, I've got to a point in my life where ebbs and flows of that like degree or that amount, I mean, they're still going to have an effect, but at the same time, they're not going to have too much of an effect on my life, because I've kind of set things up in the way where, hell, I could lose it all tomorrow and I'm still going to be able to sustain the life that I want to live for a very long time. And I feel like once you're able to, I had an employee who used to always ask me about this stuff. He's like, oh, well, what if this model leaves, or what happens here? And I'm just like, bro, like, when you've been through some shit and you know yourself and you've got the skill set to be able to go on and scale, I could bring a creator onto my agency and scale her up with no problem, so long as she's ready to work and provided she does the work and then follows our strategies and system, then hey presto, it's literally just like turning on the button and the machine starts working. When you've got that level of confidence in yourself and you've done it time and time again, you sort of don't worry about losses, quote unquote losses to any varying degree. And that's really a big thing that I kind of want you guys to take away from this video, is just like, whatever it is that you're going through, keep pushing on through it. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. Throughout both, just remain stoic. And like, even when you have these huge wins, when things are pushing, it's all going and seemingly great, don't take your foot off the gas, because shit can go left out of nowhere. Same way when you're having losses and things aren't going so great, keep your foot on the gas, because things can go fucking right out of nowhere. Like, even just this week, we signed 2 new creators, one of 2 extremely high potential. And these aren't usual creators we work with coming from scratch, but we can already just see how they're going to fit so well within our ecosystem and scale so quickly. So I'm super excited to be onboarding those, and the team are getting things set up with them now. So it's just like, lose a couple creators, you bring a couple more creators on, and lo and behold, hopefully these 2 new creators that we bring on have higher retention. And it also goes on to say, like, there's just so much jargon in this space, guys. Like, don't get lost in it. Everyone talks like they have everything figured out. I know huge agencies, like 7 figures a month agencies, and they've got the highest churn rate, like 100 plus models, and they're just purely on the framework of their agency setup is literally just like sign more models, and they've just got a high churn rate, so they're going through signing models, and it's just like, then I've got other friends who have maybe got like 1 model, might be their girlfriend, and they're just running up like 6 figures a month, highest retention rate until they break up. And it's just like, be careful when you compare yourself to people on social media and online, guys, because nothing's ever truly as it seems. And I'm happy that I can come on here and actually just share like a nice little loss that we took last month, because it just shows that I'm still here, I'm still fighting, but I'm still me. Like, and people will go through a lot of this stuff and they're too scared to show it online, because a lot of times when people go through losses of any significant degree, it kind of wipes them out. And it definitely is a hit to ego and self-worth, that's for sure. It probably took me, we're 9 days into the next month. I mean, I kind of knew this video was on my radar, but it's taken me a moment to sit down and actually chop up with you guys and kind of drop a few of the lessons I have there. I mean, a few of the lessons I could probably maybe take away is, could I have virtually managed the relationship a bit better? Potentially, but we had very good relationships with these models. we spoke with them frequently. They had never raised any concerns about the service or the pricing of our service, which is very fair. We usually do our contracts on a 50-50 basis, very industry standard. I know you've got some guys out here with salary models, some guys with 70-30 splits, some guys are taking 10%, as you've seen of how we got poached. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say there was too much changes that I would have necessarily took from that. Just the fact of it's part of the game, and to never take your foot off the gas in terms of recruiting, constantly trying to optimize our marketing and grow our models that are working with us, just to ensure that we can weather any losses that do come in the game of business, because you're going to experience some. So yeah, that was all from me today. I hope you enjoyed, because I definitely did jumping back on behind the camera, and I promise, be sharing a lot more value and insight of my day-to-day life, lessons that I go on to learn, because I feel like it's my higher calling. I feel it's my duty to relay it back to you guys as I would have once wanted when I was in your guys' position of whatever that is. So again, like I say, hope you've enjoyed. Drop in the comments if you have learned something. I'm going to leave my Telegram down there below. If you are an agency looking to scale, then just drop me a message. I'll see if I can help out in any way. I am quite vigorous on my vetting process. So if I ask some intrusive questions, don't get scared or anything. I just don't really want to be working with anyone who's fresh starting out and not very willing to put in the work or committed to. It's not free to work with me, unfortunately. My time has become increasingly valuable as my value has increased as a man on this world. So you guys can take from that what you will. I'll either see you in my DMs or I'll see you on the next video. Let's go, guys.